Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Scythe, and today we're getting back into Everlasting Summer. We are currently on the Ulyana Path, and it is day 4. We have just been doing a lot of stuff with her, she got to find out that we actually don't hate her. She's just a bit obnoxious at times, and we were telling some ghost stories to each other. She wasn't very good at it because she was just doing stuff impromptu, but I had some actual material to take from. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Now, let's see what's going to happen at Camp Sovyonok with Ulyana. Let's go. I felt warmth in my dream. It happens sometimes. Your brain is not completely awake yet, but you still feel the sun shining in your eyes. And when you wake up, you blink for some time to get used to the light. It was a wonderful morning. The birds were singing, the air was fresh and fragrant, and the world was bathed in daylight. I'd stay in bed for some time longer, but something was not quite right. All yesterday's evening's events flashed through my mind. Scary and not so scary stories. Ulyana, who was cuddling up to me tightly and snoring, not quite like a little girl would. But I didn't worry at all. After all, it's still early, surely no later than 7 or 8 o'clock. Who'd want to go to the library that early? Senya, that's who. She's gonna go up here quite early. I sat back and looked out the window. In a couple of minutes, the sun will hit it right in Ulyana's eyes. That's when you're gonna wake up. It's interesting. How did you manage to hug me so tightly? Indeed, I couldn't free myself at all. Theoretically, okay, I was ready to spend 1 or 2 more hours lying this way, but suddenly I heard footsteps. Sounds like trouble. Wake up! Do you hear me? Wake up! I started carefully but insistently shaking Ulyana by her shoulder, tried to loosen her grip, but it was all in vain. Meanwhile, the footsteps were getting closer. You had to save us at any cost. Standing up seems unworkable. That's what I learned already, so I decided to crawl. My moves strongly resembled reservist training, which I've never attended, a soldier dragging his injured officer while under an artillery attack. The officer is unconscious, the soldier is exhausted, and layers of barbed wire surround them. I barely managed to crouch behind the bookstand and hide Ulyana when the library door opened. Senya was standing on the doorstep, just like I said. She seems a bit overcommitted to her work, since she's coming in at the crack of dawn. Wait, I heard a familiar voice. Huh? A visitor? So she indeed does have a reason to come here. Why couldn't she come yesterday, or today, but later? Science waits for nobody. Science. It was electronic. Hold on for a sec, I'll find it. She headed towards us. I barely managed to turn Ulyana around so that she was on the back and crawled on all fours to a nearby bookshelf, where I collapsed and tried to catch my breath. Where was it? Cybernetic mathematics? Or mathematical cybernetics? It seems she didn't notice us. I'd like something about the electronic bombardment of photovoltaics. Are you crazy? Why would we have something military? That's not military at all. For some time they both were silent. Senya? What? Let's go down to the river tonight. What for? Well, just, I have a lot of things to do. Come on, get moving. Your robot is waiting for you. Okay. The door slamming was like an epitaph to electronics' love struggles. Seems like he is not a cold-blooded robot after all. Interesting. So what changed, considering that she was chasing him last time this happened in the Ulyana Path? I chuckled quietly. Anyway, laughter seems a bit inappropriate. We have to escape the library somehow. Waiting until Senya goes for breakfast seems to be the easiest solution at the moment. She's a communist laborer worker after all, not one of the electronics mythical robots. She has to at least eat sometime. Meanwhile, Ulyana wasn't going to wake up. At least she is not snoring anymore. The library was silent. I didn't see Xenia, but was more or less satisfied with the situation. All of a sudden, incomprehensible noises came from her desk. Clicks, cracks, and music started. The Soviet anthem? Yes, great. It would have been alright if not for Xenia, who started to sing along. United forever in friendship and labor. I could only envy her patriotic feelings. Unfortunately, she had some vocal issues. The Soviet pop scene definitely didn't miss out on a star called Xenia. The anthem ended, and an unfamiliar voice started to talk about the overachievements of a 5-year plan of crop harvesting. It was a radio, obviously. I started listening attentively. Maybe they would say something interesting. But after the list of agricultural achievements, the voice started to disappear and was gone in a few minutes. Signal disturbance, probably. Xenia stood up and headed towards us. The situation is hitting rock bottom. I managed to unclench Ulyana's grip with a titanic struggle. I was free to go. I was so cramped from all this crouching that I didn't have the strength to get up. It's time to prepare for the worst and start thinking of excuses. Suddenly the steps stopped. Seems like Xenia was standing on the other side of the bookshelf. I heard the sound of book rustling. Probably she's looking for something. She took a book and returned to her desk. Fuck off, that was loud. The door slammed open. Semyon? Have you seen him? Olga Dmitrievna was definitely out of breath. Ulyana! No. Xenia answered with surprise. The door was slammed as loudly as the previous time. Seems like everyone is looking for us, and Xenia will start to look around the library. Jesus, these sound effects are loud this time around. Did something happen to the settings? Let's do that. And just lower it on my end instead. But fortunately, that very moment the bell sounded in the distance, calling pioneers for breakfast. Xenia, being a punctual person, decided not to linger and left the library in a few minutes. It was only me and Ulyana in the library. Then it was time to decide what to do with her. No longer afraid of being caught, I bent down and shouted in her ear. Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey! She instantly jumped and started to look around. Noticing me, Ulyana's eyes widened. What are you doing here? Playing at spies? What does that mean? Huh? Never mind. Did you sleep well? Yes. Seems she is not yet completely conscious. Breakfast? Yes. We left the library. At last. Now it was certain that I won't have to explain anyone to the what, how, or why of Ulyana and myself being in there all night long. Sorry for falling asleep like that. It's alright. I guess my words sounded too insincere because she looked at me with disbelief. Wait a minute. What were you doing in there all this time? You wouldn't believe me. Wait a moment. That means... Ulyana giggled, stepped away from me and shouted loudly. I'm the first for breakfast! Why is that... What is going through her brain? Is she thinking that I didn't do anything because I wanted to cuddle with her? Is that what's going on here? Not a big surprise after such a deep sleep. As said, but Ulyana already couldn't hear me, being far ahead. It was unusually crowded near the canteen. Of course, there was no other place in the camp that pioneers loved as much as the canteen, but why were they all crowding on the porch? I came closer and tried to find out what's happening. It looked like the camp had gathered at the porch. There were all the familiar girls, Olga Dmitrievna and Electronic. They were having a lively discussion, and this is where Shurik is missing. So, we're going to go with Ulyana, and I'll be seeing you guys real soon. And we can't miss the fact that we need to check not insult her, but got food poisoning from the canteen. So we are choosing to trust her, in a sense. Considering the local cuisine, it's not that surprising. Maybe. She smirks. I see you're still alive and kicking. Well, I'm not complaining. Bye! Ulyana ran out of the infirmary, slamming the door. This time around we can ask about the bundle. Sure. What is it? What is it? Nothing. She blushed. Thank you. You're welcome. Flavia ran away. Seems like I shouldn't have asked. Isn't that supposed to give me a point? Oh, don't ask about it is giving me a point. Oh, I guess. I see. I looked at the time. It was getting late. I read the magazine backwards and forwards, but the nurse still wasn't there. Now, let's flash forward to the next point. And now we're actually going to go look for Shurek for real. And we're doing it with Ulyana. Count me in! I looked at Ulyana, astonished. Her thirst for adventures seemed to have no limits. Look, night, ghost, and old camp, it's great! On the other hand, such company always promises trouble, but on the other hand, it feels safer going together. Perfect. Having said our goodbyes to the other girls and Olga Dmitrievna, we were left alone. You consider this just an entertaining walk? Well, yes. What's the matter? Ulyana giggled. Never mind, really. I sighed. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna fetch your flashlight. Okay. I was just about to suggest that myself. It seemed that we would not only have to visit an abandoned camp at night, but also look after a fidgety child. Well, since it's Ulyana, it should be twice as obvious. Electronic has told us that the old building was right after the war. It looked like a kindergarten or like barracks, I expected, and definitely could hold less pioneers than today's camp. It had been abandoned for about 20 years. Ulyana skipped forward as if everything was just a game to her. I was ill at ease. Actually, that was normal for a person in my situation. In a night forest, in a night forest with scary animals and birds eager to swoop down on you, a full moon and this whole other world I had come into not too long ago. I might be better off alone, without needing to look after Ulyana who was running in front of me. How hasn't she tripped over something yet? Listen, be careful. Or what? She turned around so quickly that I shivered. Nothing. You may hurt yourself. Are you worried about me? Of course I am. I mean, that's normal in such a situation. Ulyana pouted. Listen. I decided to continue our conversation. It's more relaxing and less scary this way. But what is it about that old camp? You were saying back there at the square. Yeah, it's a really scary place. They say that all the pioneers died there and became ghosts which guard their last earthly refuge. What did they die from? Well, it's kind of hard to believe her scary tales. How should I know? I wasn't even born back then. But you say it so confidently. I got information from a reliable source. And where would that be from? From Alyssa? Not gonna tell you. So what happened next? They died and became ghosts. That's all? What do you mean that's all? And now the souls of the dead pioneers roam around the camp and take everyone who dares to enter the world of the dead. Wow. Okay, move along. Time passed. We went deeper into the depths of the woods where the trees enclosed everything. Suddenly I realized that the forest had gone completely silent. as if the night birds had hidden in waiting for something and the insects had dug into the ground. Even the wind had died away. I imagined that the streams of moonlight breaking through the thick foliage were ringing like plucked strings. At last trees parted and we walked out of the large glade. In the middle of it was an old building resembling a kindergarten. It was shrouded in a thick fog. It looked like we came out into a cemetery, and the old camp building at its center was a crypt. According to Ulyanas, there were pioneer souls roaming here. Truly, it was like a mass grave. I shivered and clenched the flashlight tighter. A dreadful place, to tell you the truth. Oh, come on! She patted me on the back cheerfully, which only made me more scared. I was about to move forward when the moon showed among clouds, illuminating the glade, the old camp building and us. Under that light everything seemed not so old. The crumbling brickwork, rusted slide and merry-go-round, the few panes of glass that miraculously remained in some of the windows, they all became more vivid. I started to imagine that unknown monster came out to the glade from the forest, a place of eternal darkness where even the moon can't reign. I hope that they fear the light, like vampires. Though maybe they could turn into giant wolves at full moon, like werewolves. Why have you stopped? I'm thinking. About what? Why would Shuruk want to come to such a place? How should I know? We'll ask him when we find him. Yes, obviously. I mumbled and followed Ulyana. She walked more carefully now, looking under her feet, stopping occasionally and even looking back several times. That's natural. In some places the grass reached her chest height and nobody knew what could be on the ground. Scrap metal, stones, shattered glass. We finally reached the door. Ulyana stopped and said, "Well, here we are!" As if you won a race. This isn't a game. You're... What? Boring! I made a displeased face and stepped confidently into the darkness. It was dangerous to let Ulyana go first. Dangerous for her, dangerous for me, and maybe even for all the humanity. The inside of the old camp building made an even more depressing impression. I even felt sad for it for a moment. Or probably for the people who lived here back then. It had surely been full of the joy of children in the past. Pioneers ran around and played games that forgotten. A strict leader like Olga Dmitrievna maintained order. One session ended, a new one started. And now it's just standing here, crumbling, rotting, forgotten. Look! Ulyana gave me an old ruined doll, falling apart from the damp. From the damp? Okay. One more piece of the past. So what? Nothing. She moved out of the light, but I noticed sorrow on her face. As sad as a cemetery. Scary. I haven't seen anything scary yet. It was indeed more relaxing in here than outside. It really was like a cemetery, as I looked for a specific grave while walking among countless tombstones, feeling discomfort inside, but then you'll find it and your soul calms as you lie next to it. I shuddered and let the flashlight play around the room. There was no sign of Shuruk. However, what did I expect to find here? His corpse? Looks like he isn't here. What about the second floor? Shuruk! I called loudly, but only my echo answered me. Shuruk! Shuruk! Come out! See? We should check anyway. Okay. There was no sign of life on the second floor either. I sat on the stairs and hung my head, feeling doomed. Where to next? We can't walk around the whole forest, and I'm already sleepy. Why do you whine so much? Thank you, Ulyana. Thank you. Because this guy is a big, boring, complaining idiot. Ulyana was irritated. Whining and whining, just like a kid. Oh, am I wrong? Right or wrong, what's the difference? If we are looking for Shuruk, we must find him. But how? I begged. I don't know. Somehow. Ulyana looked like a strict teacher and myself like a careless schoolboy. But shouldn't it be the other way around? Look! I turned the light in the direction she pointed and noticed a trapdoor in the corner, surrounded by garbage. It looked like it had been opened not too long ago. He must be down there for sure! Ulyana rushed to the hatch and made a great effort to open it. Why would he go down there? It was probably, I don't know, some villagers. Is there a village nearby? I don't know, Ulyana replied, breathing heavily. She hadn't managed to open the trapdoor. I started thinking. There was surely a possibility that Shurik might be there. I didn't know much about this world after all. Actually, I knew nothing. Why should the local residents act according to my logic? Could it be that they tried to escape down there, running away from wolves? Are there any wolves though? Maybe owls. Okay, let's check it out. I strained my muscles and managed to open the trapdoor. It crashed loudly on the cracked wooden floor and at the same moment, Ulyana leaned over the hatchway, lighting up the basement with a flashlight. It's some sort of tunnel. A tunnel? I pulled her back by the scruff of the neck and to look in there myself. Ah, yeah! Curiosity killed the cat. And satisfaction brought it back, because that's only half the sentence that you usually say. Didn't know that, huh? Most of those sayings are only half to mean the exact opposite of what they're intended to mean. Like, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. There was indeed a long tunnel running into the darkness. It looked like a dungeon from a computer game. There wasn't any danger at first sight. No waist-deep water, no rats, no zombies. Okay, let's climb down there to look, but be careful. Roger that, Ulyana beamed. It was really dark down there. The flashlight did little to help. It dimly illuminated concrete walls, lamps hanging from the ceiling, entangled in wires and garbage abundantly covering the floor. I slowly moved forward. I held Ulyana's hand, fearing she would run ahead of me. Probably I was a bit worried about myself too, not wanting to be left alone in this thick darkness. Maybe we should go back. Sure, it couldn't have gone so far. What if he had a flashlight? Well, even with a flashlight, what would he be doing here? I don't know. Aren't you interested in what lies ahead? Not a bit. I'm more interested in... I didn't finish the sentence. A massive metal door suddenly appeared before us as if from the thin air. I instantly noticed a biohazard sign. A bomb shelter? I realized. Probably. Have you heard anything about it? I don't know. Does it matter? What if there is radiation? What radiation? Where from? Yes. Yeah, you're right. I took hold of the door's wheel and tried to move it. It yielded, to my surprise, and groaned like a dying dinosaur. The door opened at last, and Ulyana ran in there as soon as it did. Hey! Behind my door was probably the main shelter room. There were several beds next to me, some devices near the farthest wall, lockers, fluorescent lamps on the ceiling brightly illuminated the room. Where does the electricity come from? Are the backup generators still working? I turned off the flashlight to save the battery. Ulyana started to rummage in the lockers at once, taking out gas masks, packages, and various tools. Don't you have anything better to do? No. She looked at me with displeasure. I sat on the neatly made bed and looked around one more time. Right across the room from me was a door, the same as the one we entered. Could Shurik have gone through here? If he was here at all. And why? Why the long face? Just tired, I honestly confessed. Then rest for a while. Ulyana jumped at me and pushed me in the chest. I reeled back in surprise and hit my head against the wall. What are you doing? I grabbed her arms and pulled her towards me. Are you gonna show us a suspicious CG again? She lost her balance and fell next to me. Ouch! You started this! Ulyana stuck her tongue out and sat up. Well, what's next? There, the other door. Oh, sure. Shuruk predicted a nuclear war and decided to hide it beforehand, did he? Maybe he did. Maybe. This shelter is too close to the surface. It could protect against the radiation, but if the bombs fell close enough... You're so serious about these matters. She smirked. I really didn't know when to be serious with her and when to joke. It seemed like the age difference between us really matters here. Yeah, you're like 20 years older than her. How big is it? 10 years? More? I sighed and stood up from the bed. Okay, let's try. But the door was less compliant than the first one. The bolts creaked, but the wheel didn't budge a centimeter. Seems jammed. Let me! Ulyana rushed at the door with a crowbar she got who knows where and applied herself to it with all of her unimpressive weight. Okay, that's new. We never saw this before. We just managed to open it, but it never fell down like this. That gave us a chance. I helped her and soon the door fell to the floor with a bang. The hinges turned out to be completely rusted. Why? Seemed that not everything was made to last back then. Behind the door there was a tunnel almost the same as the one we had come here through. Don't do anything stupid. I took Ulyana by the hand and stepped out of the room. It was another endless tunnel. The ceiling seemed to become lower, even though I logically realized that it did not change. Ulyana didn't seem to be bothered at all, though. She was humming as she walked. It annoyed me more and more. Looks like you're having fun. Of course I am. Aren't you? No, I don't see any reason to have fun. We should find Shuruk quickly and get out of here. He may not be here at all. Then why the hell... Look! Ulyana snatched a flashlight from my hand. There was a huge hole in the ground a couple of meters in front of us. He may be down there! She walked to the edge and leaned. Some rails. It looks like there was a mine under this tunnel. The depth of the hole was low enough to let us climb out of it, so I knew that what Ulyana would say next. Come on! I wanted to object, but she had jumped down, leaving me in complete darkness. Hey! I had to follow her. I don't know what they dug for here, but the mine had been abandoned for a long time. The planks had become damp, the rails were rusted, earth broke through the walls in some places. The whole tunnel, leading into the unknown, was suspicious. It looked like it was about to collapse and bury us. Come on! Ulyana desperately pulled on my arm. Where to? Why? What would Shuruk be doing here? What if... She made a serious face. What if he's just sitting somewhere, injured, waiting for help, and we just turn around and go, leaving him to die? I estimated the height of the ceiling one more time and walked slowly after the restless Ulyana. Soon we reached a fork. Let's go to the right. Wait! I grabbed her arm. What's the matter? What if it's a dead end? Or worse than a dead end, a whole labyrinth? Well, she thought. Then let's mark the starting point. Ulyana picked up a large stone from underground and scratched across on one of the beams that supported the ceiling. Do you think that will help? It will. Probably I will have to choose where to go, as I can't leave it to a little girl. And this we can skip because we're just going to look for Shuruk right after this. I'll see you guys soon. Now we're here and we're going to find Shuruk right behind this door. Something like that. Let's go. At last the ray of the flashlight revealed an old wooden door in the darkness. Here we are. Where? Somewhere. I don't know. But she was right about something. At least we're getting out of the labyrinth. After all these turns and forks, I wasn't sure that we ever made it back out. But on the other hand, why wouldn't the mine have any exits? Ulyana opened the door and stared into the darkness. So, you won't go first as usual? Well, okay. I stepped over the threshold. A small room was beyond the door, maybe a storage room for the bomb shelter. There was bottles and cigarette stubs, which means that somebody had been here before us. It wasn't an encouraging fact by itself, but now I was certain that there was another exit from the mine, since they could have come the same way. This is so weird. How am I supposed to read this sentence? Either way, since they couldn't have come the same way as we did. The ray of light moved around the room, examining every corner. Suddenly, it lit up a human figure. It was Scythe, huddling up against one of the walls. Hey, there you are! Here I've been looking for you all night and you... It seemed he hadn't even noticed us. Just sitting and mumbling something. Scythe? Who's that? What do you mean, who? Your rescue team! Get up and let's go! I won't go anywhere with you, he mumbled. You'll lead me around these tunnels again, I know. I won't go anywhere, I'll stay right here. You won't get me. Stop with your nonsense. It looks like he has gone insane. No, you won't trick me this time. Stop it already. He took a few steps towards Scythe. I took a few steps towards Scythe, but he jumped up at once and waved a metal rod. Don't come near me! Leave me alone! Calm down! It's me, Semyon! Don't you recognize me? Semyon? No, you're not Semyon. I noticed that Ulyana, who was standing next to me, had disappeared somewhere. Oh? You're not Semyon, and I'm going to... In the trembling light, Scythe's hand appeared for a moment. Wielding the metal rod, I covered my head instinctively. Nothing. When I opened my eyes, he had already disappeared. Ulyana stood next to me and giggled, holding the metal rod. What? Just like a scout. Yeah, a scout. From somewhere far off, the devilish laughter of Scythe was heard. He ran away. Screw him, I don't care if he dies here. I spat on the floor and leaned against the wall. If it had been for Ulyana... I wasn't prepared for that, but what happened though? What did she do? In the trembling light, Scythe's hand appeared for a moment, wielding the metal rod. I covered my hand instinctively. Nothing. When I opened my eyes, he had already disappeared. Ulyana stood next to me and giggled, holding the metal rod. So she just grabbed it from him? I wasn't prepared for that. Scythe might not have killed me, but it could have seriously injured me. To be left lying here injured would be equivalent to death. We don't even know when help will arrive. And would they be able to find me in this labyrinth? Why the hell did I agree to come here? Indulging that girl. You look like you're going to kill somebody. If a good candidate presents itself... Ulyana shuddered. No, not you. It might be nice to spank you, but there is no reason to kill you. She smirked. Yet, oh, you. Okay, it's definitely time to get out of here. They can send their special forces, rescue teams, Ghostbusters, whatever, tomorrow. I don't care. Will we go back? I looked around the room once again and noticed a door to my left. Wow. The door was just like in the bomb shelter, a massive metal one. I pulled the wheel a couple of times, but it just creaked dully. If I only had that crowbar. It doesn't work? Ulyana asked in a depressed voice. No. Actually, I didn't have enough strength left. In another situation, I would strain myself, ask Ulyana to help, look for something to use as a lever, like a metal rod. But now I just wanted to get out of this mine. I wanted to hope that there was a path of least a resistance for us to take. That meant hoping that I remembered the way through the labyrinth. Let's go back. Okay. She smiled and took my hand. We walked even slower on the way back through the labyrinth. Stones scattered under our feet, water dripped from the ceiling onto our heads, feeling like it drops of molten tin. Ulyana quieted it down and followed me in silence. Did something happen? What do you mean? It's strange for you to be quiet for more than a minute. No, everything's alright. But something was wrong for sure. One fork after another. A minute ago I was certain that the next corner I would see the cross Ulyana had scratched before. I was wrong. My faith in my ability to guide us was melting away with each second. Well, whatever. I decided to distract myself with conversation. It's alright, it's just... What? It all went so wrong with Zurich, and now we're stuck here. You saved my life. You should be proud of yourself. I tried to encourage her, but Ulyana didn't seem to get it. But if I hadn't taken this metal rod away, he might have stayed. Whether he's stayed or not, what's the difference now? We'd still have to get out from here, wouldn't we? Yes, but... Everything's alright. That Scythe will find a way out for sure. I really was sure about that. Finally, we came to a long tunnel, on the wall of which was the cross. Ulyana sheared up a bit and we almost ran to the rest of the way to the surface. You see? The full moon shined above us again, and the building of the old camp didn't look nearly so ominous as before. Especially in comparison to the bomb shelter and the catacombs. That was cool, wasn't it? It looked like Ulyana's gotten her usual cheerfulness back. I'm not so sure about cool, but I'm glad we're out. So, shall we go and look for Zurich? What? I was speechless for a moment, unable to even finish the sentence. Are you crazy? We already found him. Tomorrow Olga Dmitrievna and the police can go down there and catch the caveman. To run tests on him. Well... No wells. Back to the camp. To sleep. I walked rapidly from the dreadful place, ignoring the furious Ulyana. That is not how you spell Ulyana. Within 10 minutes, we were already back at the square. Okay, that's all for today. Dismissed, soldier. Ulyana saluted and was about to leave when she suddenly yelled and started to excitedly wave her hands. Look! Look! I turned to the benches and saw Zurich lying on one of them. Oh my. It was really hard to wake him up, as if the caveman had decided to sleep for a year beforehand. What? Where am I? He mumbled in his sleep. Do you want to explain yourself now? Explain what? We've been looking for you all night, and you jumped at Semyon with a metal rod and then ran away. Ulyana jumped around the bench, ready to explode. What happened? And why am I here? Zurich seemed to come to his senses. Oh, do be so kind to explain that. How did you get out of the mine? Why did you get in there in the first place? Everything, step by step. What mine? There was such a sincere surprise in his eyes that I started to doubt. He really might not remember anything. Where have you been for the last 12 hours? I don't know. Zurich sat and his face frowned with the effort of thinking. I went to the old camp in the morning. People say there was some old equipment there, for parts for the robot, and he stared at us in confusion. And that's all. So you don't remember? I don't. Okay. I sat next to him and leaned back on the bench. The stars shone brightly in the sky. They remember everything. Even what Zurich was doing in the bomb shelter. Post-traumatic shock. Poster what? Such symptoms are experienced by people after heavy stress, after disaster for example. Zurich remarked with a smart look on his face. You should sleep now. Yes, but we'll speak tomorrow. Shurik looked at me for some time, but then he got up and slowly walked to his cabin without saying a word. So what is it with him? He probably forgot everything that happened in the mine. He's lying! Look, why would he have to lie? So he wouldn't have to answer for when he tried to attack you with a metal rod? She said uncertainly. Doesn't look like it. And does it matter now? It does! We must find out. The criminal must be punished. If that rule was applied to you, you would have been placed under house arrest a long time ago. Or worse. What does that have to do with this? I don't leap at people with a rod. It wasn't intentional. He's lying! He may be lying. I was really exhausted after today, especially this night. And I really didn't care whether Shurik is speaking the truth or just pretending to. It really looked like he doesn't remember anything. I'm going to sleep. Then Ulyana jumped up and stood on her tiptoes. Good night. You too. I don't know. It seemed like there was something special in the expression of her face that moment. I didn't care. The camp leader had been waiting for me at home. I thought you wouldn't come back. I would have expected any reaction from Olga Dmitrievna, except that one. Since you went with Ulyana, aren't you supposed to worry about us? Why should I? You're okay. Oh, okay then. I had neither the strength nor the will to argue with the leader, or to find out the reason for her behavior. I took my clothes off and crawled under the blankets. It's all too much for a single person. Looking for Shurik in the dungeons was a job for search and rescue professionals. Doing it with Ulyana for certified madmen. But it was, in a way, fun. I fell asleep with a smile on my face. Day 5. And that is actually where we're going to be cutting off for today's episode. I knew this would be the case, that the cave, the mine area, would be its own episode. So yeah, we have managed to find Shurik again. Ulyana was standing on her tippy toes. Was she trying to kiss me on the cheek or something? Because I think I've seen that in the CGs. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you guys want to help me out, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.